في درس جديد في درس على الهواء بمادة اللغة الإنجليزية للصف الثاني عشر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. And let's start to talk about our topic for today. Today, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are going to talk about some mistakes that students made or make in their writing. Let's start this lesson with the aims. At the end of this lesson, you are going to be able to be familiar with some mistakes that students make in their writing, and inshallah at the end you are going to be able to avoid it in your coming writing and even your speaking also. Let's start with the first mistake or first thing that they go through: making questions. Making questions, sometimes is difficult for students, as if the last time in our grammar revision we were talking about verbs. First of all, how to form a question. We said that every verb has time and action. Every verb is supposed to have time and action, and we differentiate that there are two types of verbs: a verb that have a time in a separate word, and other verbs that have or has the time attached to it as a fixation. Okay, let's start first of how to make a question out of verbs that have time in a separate word, like this one. For example, we said that is playing is the verb, while is gives the time and playing gives the action. Will play also is the verb, will gives the time while play gives the action. Have gives the time, play gives the action. Together those two make the verb. Have a look at this example in here. It says at the beginning, it is snowing, as a normal sentence. When we make a question, we said that, is it snowing? Is it snowing? You can notice there is a difference in the formation. Let's have a look at the second example. He said, or it said, he can speak German. When the question, we said, can he speak German? What happened in here? What can you notice there? Look at here, is was moved to the beginning of the sentence to form a question. This is called yes or no question. Yes or no question. So the first step is to form a yes or no question, to make a question. Yes or no question. How to form it is by moving the time word to the beginning of the sentence. Like in here also, they have lived here for a long time. They have lived here for a long time. So have in here gives the time as the past participle, and we move it to the beginning of the sentence. And we said, have they lived here for a long time? This is how to form a yes or no question. Let's have more example in here. Like in the future in here, she will arrive at 10 o'clock. To form a question, we need to move the time. Again, to move the time, not the verb itself, only the time. And we say that time in here in a different word or in a separate word, so we move all the words. So will be at the beginning of the sentence, and we say, will she arrive at 10 o'clock? Again, with the past continuous, was holding the time, so we'll move it to the beginning of the sentence. Was he driving fast? The same in here. Have you been studying? Okay, so as we said, the first step is to form a question, is to form a yes or no question. A yes or no question. Forming a yes or no question is by moving time to the beginning of the sentence. And if it is a separate word, just move all the word to the beginning of the sentence. What about if it is a fixed to the verb? It's fixed to the verb, like in here, played and or plays, or even play without anything. These shows the tense, ed or s, or even without anything. Shows the tense. How to form it, we'll see in here. Have a look at there. They lived in Manchester. The ed here is the time. How can we move ed to the beginning of the sentence? It is not a word to be moved. So we cannot say, for example, start the sentence with ed. No, it's not a word. So we have to attach it to something to make it a word that can stand alone. What is the most appropriate thing or word that could we fit it or attach it to it? It's the word do. The word do. Why does do? Because do here Add no extra meaning to the word. Do, just do. No extra meaning. To do swimming, to do playing, to do something. It's almost the same. So when we attach ed to the do, it will become like this. Do it. At the beginning, it should be like this. But it is really difficult to pronounce it. For example, I said, I do it, sorry, it's even difficult to pronounce it. I do it my homework. No, it's better to shorten it and say did. So to make it easier to say, we say did. I did my homework. I did my homework. So did was to do plus ed. It became did. So we said, did they live in Manchester? Look in here. The ed was moved. The ed was moved, because we said that we move it. So this is the infinitive. Did hold the time in here. They live in Manchester. So the time is in did, while live here became without time, which is infinitive. The same thing with if the verb is in present simple with you, we hold nothing there. We can see nothing is there. So we'll move it. Also attached to do, it will go or to become do. So we'll say with you or they or the plural, do you speak fluent English? Do you speak fluent English? This is how to form a question. Also, speaking here became what? Infinitive. What about the S? She lives in Muscat. She lives in Muscat. The same thing. S gives the time. So we'll attach it to do. It will become does. Does she live without S also? Does she live in Muscat? Does she live in Muscat? This is a yes or no question. Okay. Some irregular verbs. There are some irregular verbs. There is nothing, attached to it, but it means it's in the past, like the word had. So it is had, just go and write did. And change this one into the what? Into the infinitive. Like did he have? Not did he had. No, did he have? Because did takes the time. And the other thing will be infinitive. Did he have an accident? Did he have an accident? This is how to form a yes or no question with those words that have separate words in, holding the time, or with verbs that are, the time is attached to it. The second step is to add the WH question. Okay? After forming the yes or no question, as in here, just add, now you can add the WH question. For example, the first one, are you from Germany? We deleted Germany and we say, where are you from? Where are you from? Okay? So we'll just add the where. Some students just go directly, to the second step, which is adding the WH, which is really wrong. First of all, change it to the yes or no question. Then you can add the WH. So WH doesn't always mean that you are making a good question or a grammatically correct question. No. Moving the time to the beginning of the sentence means that you have formed the question. Then you add extra information by adding WH question. The same thing in here. Do you play on your computer? This is a question. What do you play in your computer? What do you play in your computer? This is how to form a question. Good. Some more WH, like how often does she use it? How often? Why don't you come? Where do you work? As you can notice, all of them, okay? What time did you, go there or go? Which one do? Where? These are, some examples of WH question using the WH question. Sorry, and you can notice that, all of them, we have moved the time. We have moved the time before the subject. Good. Now you can notice something. You may ask, but teacher, sometimes we say that, who phoned John? Who phoned John? Where is the time? Where is the time that we haven't moved it? This is more informal way to ask for something. Who phoned John? It is better to say whom, who phoned John. We are asking about here about the subject. Who phoned John? We can say that, for example, by whom was John, phoned? By whom was John phoned? Whatever. Good. This is to ask about a subject. We can say who phoned John, but when we are asking about the object, we say who did John phone? Who did John phone? Now we are asking about the object. I hope now it's clear for you how to form a question, especially in your writing, because we have noticed that most of the students, or some of the students, they start their writing with a question to grab the reader's attention, which is a good thing. But they don't know how to form a correct question. Inshallah, after this lesson, you are going to be able to form a good, correct question. Now, the second thing that students make mistakes at are prepositions, especially with at, on, in, and by. We are going to differentiate between each one in the usage. Have a look at this lovely scene in here. We use them with three things: transportation, location, and time. Again, transportation, like cars, airplanes, bus, this is transportation. Location, you all know what does location mean, and time. We start with the word or the preposition at. We don't use at with any of the transportation. We don't say at the car or at the bus, whatever, no. We don't use at with transportation. So be careful. Whenever you have transportation, means don't use at before them. We use at with the location to talk about two things. At the door. He's at the door. Very specific place. Very specific place. At the door. So when you, for example, go and look at the door for something, you won't go and look for, for that thing in somewhere else. No, at the door, just nearby the door, there, next to the door. So at the door, or at, is used to talk about very specific place. The same thing we said at home, or at school, or at university. When you are talking about an open place with more than, 4 walls, like a house, like a school, like a university, we say at university. Why is that? Because you don't know the exact place there. He is at home, where I don't know in which room he is. No, he is at university. I don't know in which class he is, but he is at university, in a big place, at university, or at home. What about time? It's also very specific. We use it with hours and minutes, and say at night, at 7 or at 15 past 7, at 9 o'clock. So we use at with the time, and we can say also at night, because night is time, at noon. Good. Again, at, we don't use at with transportation. In location, either it means exact place, very specific place, or an open place. And with time, we use it with hours and minutes. Let's move to on. Yeah, we can use on with the transportation, like on train, bus, plane, even sometimes boat. Why is that? On means on something. If the mean of the transportation, you can walk on it, so use on. Like on train, you can walk on it. On bus, you can walk on it. On plane, sometimes. And if it's a big boat, you can say on boat, if it's a big boat. Okay? So every mean of transportation that you can walk on it, you are on it. And also bike, or riding a bike, or he is on the bike or on the horse, on the bike or on the horse. So because you are all actually also on that one. But what about in? It says that in a car or in a taxi. Why is in not on? Because you are inside it. You cannot move, you cannot walk. Just like, for or in a box. So you are inside the car, in a taxi. That's why we don't use on, with car. So if you say that you are on the car, it means that you are on the top of the car, not inside the car. I hope it's clear. Good. Let's move to, or go back to on the table also, location, on something, on the table. It's clear that's on something. What about time? We use it with days, on Sunday, on Monday, on Friday. We use it with days, on. Okay? And sometimes they will give you a date, like, the 1st of June, 1999. Is it a date or a year? Yeah, it has a date, a month, and a year. Yeah, so they are talking about the date. So use on, because it's on. On Christmas Day also. You can say on Eid Day, on your holiday, on your birthday. This is our, one day. Good. In, again, we said in for the transportation because you are inside that kind of transportation, as you can see in the picture. In the box, location, in the room. In the room, or in the box. If there is four walls, you will say in. If there is more than four walls, like in a home, in a house, you would say that he is at home or at university. But if it's a room, in a room, because there are four walls there. We use in also to talk about time with weeks, month, years, centuries, long time, with long time, longer than days. We said in 1999, in February, in the coming weekend, or in the next week, whatever, with longer, in the coming century. And we use it also with the parts of days. What are parts of days? Yeah, in the afternoon, in the morning, in the evening. These are parts of days. So we use in with parts of days also. Now let's move to the word by, which is the most easy one in here. By is to be used with all of the transportation means. But it means something else. It means using. So I go to school by bus, by car, by plane, by train, by whatever. It can work with every kind of transportation, but it means using. It means here using that kind of transportation mean. Also with the location, you can say that he is by the building. By the building. It means here, the near. I don't know exactly where, but he is by the building there. Someone near the building, right or left to the building, in front or in the back of, or behind the building. But he is by the building there. And with the time, we can use it with almost every time, but it means before. If I said by tomorrow, you have to submit me your work. So before tomorrow, you have to submit me your work, or before the end. By 12, before 12. By the end of this month, before the end of this month, you have to do it. So by in here means before, if it comes with time. I hope it's a little bit clear. Let's have more ideas or more things to talk about. Within, as we said, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the summer also, in 1999, in 19s, because all of those are talking about long time. In the 17th century, in the next century, in the future, in 10 years' time, a long time. This is how to use in, or when to use in. On, as we said with days, on Monday, on Sunday or Saturday also. Look in here, on the 3rd of June, or June the 3rd. Yeah, it started with month, teacher. But they are not referring to a month, they are referring to the 3rd day of that month. So it is a day. 3rd or June the 3rd. June the 3rd, it means that they are referring to a day. So we use on, not in. On the 1st of October, like in here, Also a day, on the Christmas day, on my birthday, on Tuesday evening, it's a day. On time, also on time, on a winter evening, because it's a time, or a day, sorry, on a warm day, because we're also talking about a day. Want to use at 9 a.m., at 8 o'clock, at 6 p.m., at night, at noon, or at midday, or at midnight. It's also time. At Christmas, at dinner time, at dinner, and at the moment. At dinner, because it's a time also for dinner. It's almost the same like at dinner time. Good. These are something that you have to remember and to put in your mind, because you are going to use it in your writing and sometimes even in your examinations in the grammar and vocabulary. Place, with countries like in England, in Chinatown, in a building, inside the building, in here it means, inside the building, in a car, in a taxi, in a boat, or in a boat. As I said, in a boat if it's a small boat. It's mainly small boat, so in a boat, he cannot walk on it. In a helicopter, you cannot walk on it. In a traffic jam, what is that? Because he is stuck there, he cannot move. He cannot move, you are stuck there. Times Square is a place in the article, inside the article. On the bus, the plane, on a horse, because you are riding it. On the phone also, on the phone. He is on the phone, not in the phone. He is on the phone. Even in Arabic, we say almost the same. He is on the phone, and he is on the internet. Okay? On the television, not in the television. Okay? On the television. On the floor, on the page, on the menu, on the street, on Oxford Street, on the street, because he is on the street. But he lives at a specific point. He lives at that street. He lives at that street. When you are talking about address, not street, about address. At the bus stop, also, exact place. At the door, at the top of page, at someone's house, at the entrance, at the crosswords. There are exact places there. At that place, you just go there and you will find that thing or that one, or that someone there. At the front, at the back, at the bottom of something. These are some of the words that you can use or you can memorize also. Let's have a little practice in here. I need you to look at this text in here. Choose, are we going to use at, in, on, or by? Okay, go ahead and try to read. It says, Mr. Bear is a taxi driver. He drives the street of New York every day. Mr. Bear wakes up 7 o'clock to go to work. He likes to drive his yellow taxi, New York, because he meets new people. Mr. Bear doesn't work weekend because he goes to sleep the forest. Okay, let's start the first one. Mr. Bear is a taxi driver. He drives on the street of New York, on the street, every day. Mr. Bear wakes up, of course, at 7 o'clock. Why is that? Because it's time, at 7 o'clock, to go to work. He likes to drive his yellow taxi, New York. It's a city, of course, in New York, because he meets new people. Mr. Bear doesn't work weekends. We use at weekends. We use at with weekends because he goes to sleep. Is it on the forest, in the forest, at the forest? Of course, it is in the forest. But teacher, you said that it is an open space. It is not. It is not. In the forest. You go inside the forest with that all long trees and bushes. Good. Let's move to the next exercise. Read and let's try. This is Joe. He lives a small town, the countryside of England. His job to sell fruits to the local people, the town. Joe likes fruits very much. He starts working very early the morning. There are many different kinds of fruit there. He goes home about 7 o'clock p.m. Let's start trying. Okay. This is Joe. He lives a small town. Of course, he lives in a small town where countryside of England, in the countryside of England. His job is to sell fruits to the local people, the town, also the town again, in the town. Joe likes fruits very much. He starts working very early morning. In the morning. There are many different kinds of fruit there. He goes home about 7 o'clock, at about 7 o'clock, because it is time. I think it is clear for now. Do we have more exercise in here? Read it. Try to figure out the answers. Meet Luke. He works really hard. Luke works every day. He is a manager of a big company, his country. He lives Los Angeles, California. Luke can do many different tasks at the same time. He has a cup of coffee, one hand, and a computer, the other hand. He works so much that he even works weekends. Okay? Meet Luke. He works really hard. Luke works every day. He is a manager of a big company, his country. In his country. He lives Los Angeles, California. Of course, he lives in Los Angeles, California. Luke can do many different tasks, but at the same time, exact time. He has a cup of coffee in one hand, and a computer in the other hand. He works so much that he even works weekends. We said, what do we use with weekends? We use at weekends. The last activity, or the last exercise here. Read it. Try to figure out the answers. This is Alice. She is going a trip to Paris. She is a student from the USA, but she is vacation now. This is the first time Alice is flying. She just can't wait to go board. Alice says the airport is beautiful, but she likes to watch the planes, the sky. Now Alice is going to have some snack cafe, the depart area. Her flight leaves about 9 or 30 past 9. Okay, let's go and answer. This is Alice. She is going a trip. She is going on a trip to Paris. She is a student from the USA, but she is in vacation or on vacation? It is on vacation. Now, this is the first time Alice is flying. She just cannot wait to get in board or on board or at board. On board, on the plane. Alice says that the airport is beautiful and she likes to watch the planes in the sky, on the sky, at the sky. It is in the sky because the planes are in the sky. Now Alice is going to have some snack in the cafeteria or at the cafeteria, or the cafe, sorry, at cafe in the depart area or departure area. Her flight leaves, of course, at, because there is time. Now I hope you have got a clear idea about using such prepositions. Let's have a look at more prepositions that you may use in your writing, or you may comprehend. You have to know them. Above the box, like the ball is above the box, there is a space. There is a space between the box and the ball. And also below there is a space. It's not on. Why is that? Because have a look. Have a look first. This is above the box, below the box. Look, if it is really attached to the box, we say on the box. On the box. Okay, on the box. For example, if you ask your brother to go and to bring your phone, and you say it is above the bed, he won't search on the bed. He will search on the shelf that is above the bed. But if you say it is on the bed, he will go directly to the bed and search there. The same thing with below and under. Below, for example, below the shelf, you will search there if there is a space. And if you say under, it means directly under something. Good. In front of, yeah, it is in front of. As you can see, this ball is in front of the box. In front of. Behind something. It is behind the box. As you can see, this ball is behind the box. Next to, it means near. Next to, it's really, close to. Next to the, for example, to the clinic. Next to the clinic. It means it's really close to. In, also inside. As you can see, it is in the box, inside the box. And in here, okay, next to, inside, between and among. You have to be careful with using these two prepositions. Between, it means that there is one, two, and something between them, like in here. Two boxes, and the ball is between the two. Only two, between two. So if you say to someone, this is between us. This is between us. So there are two people who are talking. Only two people. This is between us. But if there is a group of people, and you may say, you need to say that, keep this among us. If there is 3 or 4, you won't say keep this between us. No, keep this among us, like in here. Among goes with the group, So this is the ball is among the boxes, Again, if you are 2 and you have a secret, and you will say, please keep this between us, because you are 2 only. And if you are more than 2 in a group, you would say, please keep this among us. I think now it's clear. Good. Near, and next, as we said. Next to is really close. Near, it's somehow, close to, but not that much close. Near, like in there. Far from, away from, away, very far. There is a distance. Far from the box. Onto. You say, for example, you say jump onto. From onto something. You jump onto the box, like this ball jumped onto the box of the box. Of the opposite of onto, when you jump down, okay, of the box, jump of the box. Over the box, just over it, like this. You don't stay on it, just go over the fence, for example, over the fence, okay, or over something, obstacle, over the obstacle. You don't touch it, over the obstacle. Good. Away from the box, away from the box. It goes away from, go far. So You go away from me, for example. Go away from that, for example, danger thing or dangerous. Good. Toward, the opposite of far from. Toward. Come toward me. Go toward that thing. Toward. Good. Past the box. The car passed me. Just go in front of me like this and passed me. Through, if you have a hole in the wall, you go through the door or through that hole in the wall. So like this ball is going through the tube. Through. Up the stairs. Going up and going down the stairs, up and down, you know it. Out of the box. It was inside and jump out of the box, not on the box as we said. No, out of the box, or not of the box, out of the box, or the opposite, into the box, inside the box, jump into the box, like in here, as you can see, into and out of. Around, go around something, just make it like a circle, around, go around. That's why they call it roundabout in the street, roundabout. Go around something like this. Along, from the word long, along the road. Go with the road, along the road. While if you go like this, like we say, cross the road, across the road, like you cross it, across the road. That's why they call it cross line. The cross line also. Good. This is some, examples of propositions. Let's move to the last part for today, which is articles. Some students make mistakes in using articles, a, the, and an. We are going to have a little, review about them, hoping that you are going to avoid such mistakes in the future. First of all, what is a and an, and what is the? There is something called definite articles or indefinite articles. If you know the same thing, a specific thing, this is definite. You define it. That thing, you know it, specific. I know that thing, so you define it. If you don't know it, indefinite. So, for example, let's have a look at this one. I would say, bring me a taxi. Bring me a taxi. A taxi. It is indefinite. A or an, we use it with indefinite. Anything. You don't know it. Just bring me any taxi. So the boy, for example, or the chauffeur would go and pick any car in here and say, please come. This is indefinite. But if I say to him, bring me the taxi, bring me the taxi, I know it, and the one who is listening to me knows which taxi I'm talking about. Define it. So he will go directly to that taxi because we know that taxi. Again, a taxi means any one of those. A taxi. Just bring me a taxi, any taxi. But if I said, bring me the taxi, it means this particular one that we know. Good. But what is the difference between a and an? A and an. Please be careful with things that I'm going to say right now. A and an are almost the same. We use it, it means one. It means one. And they are almost the same. The only difference is that sometimes it is hard to pronounce a with certain words, like apple. We cannot say apple, apple. It is really difficult. So they said, why don't we add n with a to make it easier, anable. Instead of saying apple, we say no, anable. Very easy, especially when you are speaking fast. This is the only difference. So a and an are almost the same. The only thing that ands goes with certain words that it is really to make it easier to pronounce. Okay? What's that words? A goes with consonant sounds. Again, sounds. Be careful. I'm not saying consonant letters. I'm saying consonant sounds. Why is that? Because some sounds or some consonants may sound like a vowel. So we cannot use a with them. They're almost the same thing with vowel sounds. Some consonants may sound like a vowel, and you cannot use a with them. How is that, teacher? Let's have a look. First of all, those words end with consonant like B, C, D, a book, a car, a dog, a frog, a lion, and a truck. Some other may end or may start, with a vowel sound like a vowel, like an apple, an egg, an instant, an orange, an umbrella, an actor. This is normal. This is the same thing. The letter is a vowel and sounds like a vowel, and the letter in here is a consonant and sound like a consonant. But sometimes like in here, okay, like in here, like look, an hour. Yeah, it starts with H, but it sounds like an O, an hour. We don't say so. If you say that with the letter we put a, with the H we put a, it won't work in here. No, it sounds like a vowel. It sounds like a vowel. Say an hour, an hour, an hour, which is almost here the same thing, but in here a house. It started the sound ha, but in here started the sound a. So an hour, an hour, an hour. So again, we use a with the consonant sounds, and we use an with the vowel sounds, just like this. With the vowel sound to make it easier for us to pronounce it. Like a hour, it's really difficult, so we say an hour, an hour. Good. The same thing with uncle and uncle, the opposite sometimes. The vowel may pronounce like a consonant. The vowel may pronounce like a consonant. It seems to be, you write it a vowel, but you pronounce it a consonant. Like in here, university. You don't say an university, no, a university, because it sounds like you. Not like a in here, like uncle, uncle. It's a vowel. But in here, no, it pronounced or sound like you. A university, a university. So be careful with the sounds, okay? Again, goes with the consonant sounds, and vowels goes with, and goes with vowel sounds. Good. This is, something that you have to bear in mind. Sometimes also you use a and out with the adjectives, even though they are talking about another noun, a day, a cold day. Even though in here it started or whatever, no, the nearest word to the a or an, the nearest word. Good. Warning. Some words that begin with vowels letter in writing have a consonant sound, as I told you. Some words that start with a vowel have a consonant sound, like in here, a united group. A united group, you pronounce you. So don't say ununited, a united group. A university, a 1-year-old child, a 1-year-old child, okay? A 1-year-old child. The same thing, but sometimes, okay, and we use an before the vowel sound. An apple, an old house, an orchestra, an umbrella, it's normal. Some words that begin with the consonant letter in writing have vowel sounds. The opposite, as I told you. Some consonants have a vowel sound, like in here, an hour, because we don't pronounce the H, an hour. Like in here, this is a very interesting one. An MP3 player, an MP3 player, because to start with the word even though it's written with M, no, we pronounce it at MP3 player, an MP3 player. Good? I think now it is clear. What are some of the words that we can use and with? We use it with jobs, like a student, a doctor, an engineer, a designer, a lawyer. Those are some of the jobs that you can use or an with it. We can use also with singular pronouns like an apple, an umbrella, a notebook, a car, a dog, a cat. Those are some normal names that we use it. Also with something, one of the something. You have only one in the world, for example, that one, only one. Like the Eiffel Tower, and the sun, and the president, the moon. Those are only, we have only one in them in the world. Parts of the day, the morning, the evening, the afternoon. Names of countries, some of the countries, not all of them. The USA, the UK. But we use no article, neither this or this, with, for example, names, like names of people, and names of countries and cities, and with the word by. We don't say by a bus, no, by bus, by car, by train. Don't say by the train. You can say by the train if you mean a specific train, but we don't say by a train, no, by train. Okay? Something else you have to bear in mind, we don't use a or an or the, whatever, with the words any, some, my, because you are defining it. For example, you won't say I love, you say I love my job. You don't say I love my job. I love my job. No, because it's yours. I know it. I know which job you are talking about. Don't specify it more. The same thing in here. Does she want this book? Or don't say does she want this book. I know which book you are talking about. This book. Don't define it more. The last thing, I remember one of my students asked me, teacher, what's the difference between saying I am in hospital or I am in the hospital? Okay. If you said I am in hospital, it means that you are a patient. You are a patient and you are sick. You are going there as a patient. You are a patient. I am in hospital. And if you said I am in the hospital, it means that you are in the building, with maybe going with someone, going with your father in the hospital. Okay? The same thing with I am at school. It means that you are a student in the school. You are a student in the school. I am at school. And if you say that I am at the school, it means that you are going to the school to do some work or to meet someone there. This is almost everything about today. I hope you have, gained little, things that will be really useful for you in the next time, inshallah.